welcome back to Book Club Preview. Today we're looking at Death in the Clouds, Chapter 5 and Chapter 6. Chapter 5 starts off right after the inquest, and Jane Grey and Norman Gale are kind of coming out and talking a little bit, and they ask the same discussion question I asked, which is, what was on the piece of paper that the jury wrote the first time? And Hercule Poirot says, I think I know what it was. They think I committed the murder. And they thought that was kind of silly, but he said, yes, but it looks like I have to prove that I'm innocent now. The young couple continues on, and I think Norman asks Jane if she wants to have a cup of coffee, or no, sorry, this is England, some tea. So they go to a tea house, and they start drinking tea, and they start talking about the murder. And as they're talking, a news reporter comes in, and he says, "Oh, Miss Grey, can I interview you? I'll give you $100. I'll give you $200." She says no. And he says, "Okay, well, Mr. Gale, how about you? I'll give you $100. I'll give you $200. And he says no. Well, they said enough that this guy takes this information and he just makes a news article about it. But Jane is a little worried that being associated with this murder, she might lose her job. And Norman's a little bit afraid because he's a dentist, and his clients, his customers, might not want to go to him if he has been close to a murder, right? They might think, oh man, maybe this guy is the murderer. So they kind of talk about this. This article comes out, and they can't do anything about it. But as they're talking there, they start to feel this affection towards each other. And they start to talk about the murder and who do they think it is, and did they see anything. And as they're talking and sharing, Norman thinks, dang, this girl is really awesome. I'm going to marry this girl. I've got to find a way to meet her more because I want to marry her. And maybe on Jane's side, we don't really see, but she certainly likes Norman because she kept looking at him during the flight. And so she even says she should have seen if something happened to Madame Giselle because she kept looking back that way. But her eyes were focused on Norman, unfortunately, and not back towards Madame Giselle. Or Giselle. So we see some young love blossoming here. Chapter 6 is the consultation. So Hercule Poirot, and I didn't write these names down, and Gibbs, the other detective or policeman, Jap, and another gentleman, let's see, Monsieur Fournier of the Sûreté. I have no idea what that is. He was in another book, I guess, because Inspector Jap has worked with Hercule before, and this guy, Monsieur Fournier, maybe? It could be French, had worked with Hercule too. So all three of these guys are getting together, trying to discuss this murder, what information they have, and they even bring in Madame Giselle's lawyer, Thibault, I guess, Thibault, not too sure. But we learn a lot actually from this guy, and he says that Madame Giselle, she's actually pretty awesome. She's very honest, very straight, and if you don't break her trust, she'll never break your trust. But we learned that she was actually in the industry of information and blackmail. She was a money lender, but she wouldn't lend money unless she knew that she had something about you that she could use so you will pay the money back. Because she didn't have a contract, she didn't have like a government signature, something that she could take to a court. She had kind of a word of mouth. Here is $100,000 and you're going to pay it back, okay, shake, right? And then if that person didn't pay it back, then she would say, oh, well, that's too bad, because I'm going to have to give this really bad information that I found about you to the newspaper. And then people say, no, wait, no, give me more time. I'm going to pay you back. So she would blackmail. Blackmail is using some information to make someone do what you want them to do. And she didn't have to do it often, I guess, but she would do it, and she had that power. She's actually a really powerful woman, because sometimes she would give money and maybe just trade for information, or she got to choose her price, and the price wasn't always give me my money back. It could have been something else. The lawyer doesn't really know, but he knows that that was kind of Madame Giselle's business. Wow, that gives us all sorts of new motives. Okay, it's not just money lending that she has, but one of the people that killed Madame Giselle, maybe they couldn't pay her back, and maybe she had information that she was going to let out to the public. Okay, so now we have a little bit of motive. We learn that Madame Giselle's daughter ends up getting most of the inheritance, but she wasn't on the plane, so maybe she wasn't trying to kill her mom. One thing we learn about Madame Giselle is that she might have information on some of her clients. So we might find that James Ryder was actually knew her, or maybe the Mr. and Mr. Dupont knew her. None of these guys said they knew her, but if they could get Madame Giselle's documents, her journals, because she kept really good books, they might find out who's lying. Unfortunately, Madame Giselle's maid had strong orders that if anything happened to Madame Giselle, she was to open the safe that Madame Giselle had and burn everything. And that is what the maid did. So all the information, all the gossip, all the dirty news, and all her books were all burnt up, because Madame Giselle was a very honest person, and if she trusted you and you trusted her, she wanted to make sure that no one could break that trust. Even if she died, you would still be protected. Pretty cool. She kept the faith. She kept the promise. That leads us to some vocabulary. First, willful choice, or willful, means a willful murder. Means I murdered you by thinking about it and choosing to. It wasn't an accident, and it wasn't just passion, right? There's a difference between an accidental murder and a passionate murder and a willful murder, right? I planned and chose to kill you. Condole is to comfort. My condolences, we'll say, if someone passes away, oh, my condolences, my comforting presence or word to you. Strenuous is hard, effort. Okay, this is a bad word. Okay, we usually don't say this word, especially in America. The word is ass, and that actually means donkey. So we can use this word to acting like a donkey, behaving like a donkey, and that's kind of how it means in this book. But it can also mean someone's behind, someone's butt. And so usually we don't use this word, but you can see it in maybe older books where it hadn't changed to a really bad word yet. Accentuate means to highlight or emphasize. I have no hair, okay? So my eyebrows might be accentuated, right? Because there's no other hair on my head, this part is highlighted. Okay, now my glasses maybe cover them up, but that's a accentuate, kind of stand out or highlight. Homicidal maniac. Norman Gale is a little worried that his customers and patients might think he is a homicidal maniac. Homicide is murder, so homicidal, murdering, maniac, crazy person. Glib is shallow, so it's not deep, not deep, not serious, but light or casual. Disparagingly is disapprovingly. not affirming, not supporting. And then reticent is the last word here, which means reserve, which is like, I don't want to give, I don't want to share. I'm reticent to tell you who I like. Okay. Big secret, it's my wife. Sometimes my daughter tells me, Daddy, I'm going to tell mommy who you have, that you have a crush on her. And I say, no, don't tell her to have a crush on her. I am reticent for my daughter to share that secret, although it's not really a secret, but we just play. I'm trying to keep it. I don't want to let it out. That leaves us with our discussion question. Have you ever tried to blackmail someone? Now, you're not Madame Giselle, okay? You're not trading hundreds and thousands of dollars and finding these crazy secrets about these politicians. But maybe your younger brother or sister ate a piece of candy and they weren't supposed to. And you found out. And maybe you said something like, if you don't clean my room, I'm going to tell mom you ate candy. Okay? Something like that. If you don't give me a massage, I'm going to tell dad that you broke his favorite cup. Okay? Something like this. Even on this small scale, this is blackmail. All right? So have you ever tried to blackmail someone, even on a really light thing? Okay? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.